Today is the recording in progress. Today's the 22nd day of the month of Teves, right? And it is January 3rd. Welcome. If you're here for the first time, we are in the middle of chapter 12 in Tanya, describing what a Beinoni is. A Beinoni is someone who acts outwardly as a tzaddik, but has a constant daily struggle with his impulses and desires and temptations and things that are, pulling him to be selfish because he wants to enjoy life. And his godly soul wants him to be godly. So there's this constant battle and constant struggle. And the question is, what if he overcomes these challenges day by day, never outwardly does anything that may be considered wicked? He's always acting like a tzaddik. He's always thinking like a tzaddik. He's always speaking the way a tzaddik would speak. What then? Can he be a tzaddik? The Alter Rebbe says no. He's still, as long as he has that nefesh habahamis, and he is constantly being challenged. See, a tzaddik's not challenged, right, Doc? A few days ago, we said that the tzaddik has put his nefesh habahamis in check. It has either no power against him, or he transforms him completely. And now he doesn't exist because there's no animal soul anymore. It's all completely godly. But if the divine soul of the Beinoni indeed dominates every area of practical expression, so that every thought, speech, and action is directed towards the Kadosh Baruch Hu, Torah, mitzvahs, can he then be a tzaddik? So the Rebbe says, nevertheless, he is not called a tzaddik. By the way, don't worry about it. I saw a meme that the Rebbe said, labels are for clothing. Don't worry what you're called. What's the difference? As long as you know you're doing the right thing. Are you worried if somebody calls you a tzaddik or a beinoni? If you're worried that you're not being called a tzaddik, I guarantee you're not a tzaddik. But if you're not worried about it and it's not part of the equation, maybe you are a tzaddik. Okay, we'll get to that. So a person who his thoughts, his speech, whatever he says, and certainly all his actions are directed towards Hashem. Nevertheless, if he has temptations, never acts upon them, doesn't even think on them. They come into his mind, boom, he pushes them out. He's not called a tzaddik. Why? Because the light of the divine soul, even though it has dominance over this stupidity and folly that enters his mind, we're on page 83 in the Chayenu, and the translation here is folly, but we like to call it stupidity because who says folly these days? Oh, you acted very folly. You acted upon folly. No, you acted, it was stupid. I shouldn't have done that. Okay, so use the word stupidity. So, stupidity came over him and he has complete control of it. He was able to, let's start over. The dominance that the light of the godly soul has over the darkness and the stupidity that enters his mind, to be able to push it out completely, is limited to the Nefesh Elikis's three garments. How strong can he be in his thought, speech, and action to be able to dominate the animal soul? And according to what we've learned, very strong. Very, very strong and determined to not allow these thoughts to fester in his mind, and certainly not to translate into anything that he says and does. But the essence and the core of the godly soul does not dominate the essence and core of the animal soul from the klipa. It doesn't completely take it over and control it. It's still there, and it's still very much alive, and it's still very much active, but it's like, I hope this is not too close to home for anybody, but imagine you had a rat problem or a mice problem in your basement, and you figured out a way how to keep it out of the house and out of the kitchen, but it's still crawling around in the crawl space. Hamas. Exactly. Hamas. You have a bunch of rats, and you have complete dominance, but they're still there, and you keep bombing them and hitting them. Okay, let's use the mice and the rat problem, or whatever bugs, in the summer, you always have something. In the winter, the mice come in because they're cold outside. And you completely block them out of the house. You never see them. There's no little, those little black little ballies running around. You don't have that problem. But every once in a while, you scratch, it's there. You can't seem to figure out how to get rid of them. But what? Burn that. But you have total control. They don't affect your day. You don't see them. You don't have it. But it's still there. So until you could say they're completely gone, it's there. It's there. You once in a while, the minute you hear it, I'm gonna spray, or I'm gonna put a trap. And that's what we do. Our nefesh habahamis is there. And we have total control. We don't let it take over, but we constantly get challenged every single day. And it's frustrating, but we work hard. When it comes to the Beinoni, that nefesh habahamis is still there. It's lodged in the left side of the heart, and it remains undisturbed. And the nefesh halikis does not destroy it or transform it, and we have to deal with it. So when do we have complete dominance? During davening. Shema, Shemona Esrei, we have to get through davening. And acharat tefillah, she'ein ish be'esh ahavas Hashem, biskalus libe b'chol ha'imoni. After davening, when the burning love that you have during Shema and Shemona Esrei, you leave it behind in shul, obviously, as you go to work. It's no longer in a revealed state in the right part of the heart, as it was during davening. So the more the fiery love for Hashem dissipates, the more chance especially you're going to go to breakfast. So you go either for a coffee, a sandwich, whatever. Then you're like, should I have the donut? So that's it. Enough Shabbat kicks in. Go for the donut. Big deal. No, I don't need it. I'm full. I don't need it. So if we're strong, we say, no, we'll eat what we have to, and it gives us strength. If it's a Shabbos morning after Tehillim, and you sit with a piece of cheesecake, and you're enjoying it with Chaverim, and you sing the L'chaim, okay, that's a different story. But just on a regular Wednesday morning, have your coffee, have your bagel, and move on. Forget that donut. It's not for you. And by the way, if it is for you, then it is for you. If you need the sugar and you need the energy, okay. But don't allow the nefesh habahamis to self-serve, to give you that personal pleasure and satisfaction, because it'll be gone like that, and you'll feel crummy later. Oftentimes you do. Your stomach starts hurting, the carbs, the oil. Why did I need to do that? I didn't need to do that. There was a fleeting moment of satisfaction that the Yetzer, not the Yetzer, but the nefesh habahamis got to me because he enjoys the sweets. Rather, the love after davening only on the inside. His heart is inlaid and hidden love, so he still loves Hashem, even if he's driving and stuck in traffic and going to work and whatever it might be. But it's not the revealed love that comes from meditation during davening. That's experienced when a yid puts on his talis and tefillin, or it could even be, if a woman is davening, they usually daven better than us anyway, saying Tehillim. So they're connecting to Hashem with such a tremendous love, as we'll discuss further, that every single yid, even if you never davened before and you don't think you could reach that level of kavanah, every single yid has that capability, and it's latent within him. Sometimes it's just sitting and waiting to be nurtured and brought out, that love of Hashem. Sichlus haksil harabi iskalus libe b'chol asmali. After davening, when the love of Hashem is no longer revealed in a strong way, it's possible for the stupidity of the wicked fool, quote unquote, meaning the animal soul, to reveal itself in the left part of the heart. Then he starts to exercise his cravings, anything that brings him momentary satisfaction. He tries to ingest, whether it's with his eyes or his mouth or his ears in the car. Whether it's permitted or even whether it's forbidden or even permitted, but it's not. And mamash, he's in the car, he starts to yell and scream, maybe even curse, listening to things he shouldn't listen to, seeing things he shouldn't see. What happened? You just davened like maybe an hour ago, maybe a moment ago. And it's as if that he didn't daven at all. When it comes to these cravings, we're not even talking about forbidden things that he did, some kind of a transgression. No. Actually, it's thoughts of sin, even if he doesn't act upon them. Just the ideas, the concepts that come to his mind sometimes could be even more heinous than actual sin, and can manage to rise into his mind, distracting him from Torah and divine service. And we're going to talk about like anger. If you get angry because something happened, oh, I got a flat tire, cannot believe it, I'm going to miss that meeting. You're like, you don't think Hashem did that for a reason? Maybe you were supposed to come late because for whatever reason, either you were saved from kind of an accident, or that meeting would have been a complete scam and you would have lost you. Who knows? So Chachamim say, Avedes ein adam nitzel behen l'chol yoim hirhur aveda v'iyun tefillah. Our sages say there are three sins so difficult to avoid that no man is safe from transgressing these daily thoughts. Thoughts of sin and lack of concentration in prayer, and slanderous gossip. Oh, such a juicy piece of lashon hara. It's so easy to fall into that trap. So thus the Beinoni is included in the generalization that no man, including the Beinoni, avoids thoughts of sin. And again, it doesn't mean there's a very big difference between contemplation and a thought that initially arises. The Beinoni is always going to have these thoughts that come into his head, and how we're going to deal with them, as we learned yesterday, of putting something else in your mind and focusing and concentrating on something else to get rid of and push out the other thought. So the takeaway for today is you can put your nefesh habahamis to sleep, lull them away when we daven and we have kavanah, and then we think of Hashem with love, with the most passion that we have during the davening, and then we utilize the time of davening to make a difference in our day. We try to take that inspiration with us throughout the entire day, and hopefully that will keep us on the Beinoni track and avoid the pitfalls that the Nefesh HaBahamis constantly puts before us. Have a wonderful day, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.